Hey there, today we are talking about 3 limiting beliefs that I gave up to be happy as fuck. I hope you guys are like, ooh, I want to know this one.
Welcome to the Loveable as Fuck show with Sherry Yazzie. I am a plus-size indigenous woman in a world that tells me not to love myself. I fucking do. Here's how I do it.
For more on how to defuck yourself, love yourself, and my emotional resiliency magnifying, life-transforming mindset hacks and self-care tools that you need to know now in order to transform your life and be happy as fuck, go to beloveableaf.com. That's BELOVEABLEAF.com. So today it's really important that we get real about happiness, okay? So when I talk about 3 limiting beliefs that I gave up to be happy as fuck, I am not claiming happiness as this entire idea of it's all love and light and nothing ever happens and the shit never hits the fan, because that's all bullshit. Let's be real. Life happens to everybody, no matter who they are, right? Now, can life be like better, more amazing, more fulfilling, more exciting? Fuck yeah. But it's never perfect. And that's not the goal. Can you imagine if every single day was just the same and you were just lit up and excited and happy every goddamn day and nothing bad ever happened? You would actually get bored. That's just kind of the way that humans work. So this is not about like, oh gosh, I'm happy as fuck and now I'm done, right? I live my life. I'm a regular person. But it is about, I no longer struggle to get out of bed. I no longer wake up so scared it feels like somebody is sitting on my chest when I wake up. I no longer have a pit in my stomach feeling like this is not it, or like I'm being choked, like I have something to say and I'm not saying it. I no longer feel so insecure in my body and who I am and how I show up, in the voice that I have. I no longer feel like I have to do everything for everybody and make everybody else happy for me to be okay. So there are things, right? And these are the things that to me can bump your happiness set point, because that's what this is about for me. Is everybody has a set point, a relationship set point, a money set point, a love set point, a happiness set point, a physical, fitness set point. We all have them and they can all move, right? Now, the cool thing is, though, once you get a set point truly cemented in, it's very hard for it to go back down. You have to really be intentional for at least 21 days the other way to get it to do it. So that's one of the things I love about set points is we're all on this continuum and there's always another level. So I don't look at it like, oh my God, that's so much work, because I remember feeling that way when I couldn't get out of bed, when I had so little energy that, if you were picking out Winnie the Pooh characters, I would have been Eeyore every single time, right? So I remember feeling that way. But now, because my happiness set point is bumped, I feel good and I'm excited for the next level. I'm excited for all the levels as they come and all the things, because we're humans, right? And there's all these beliefs, these limiting beliefs that are operating in the background, and they come up as needed. So let me give you an example. So I'm going to get into the 3 limiting beliefs that I did give up to be happy as fuck. But before that, I had given up those beliefs and they were life-changing. But there was a belief that I had still that I was packing around. And it was this. It was kind of a weird one. It was that I loved my husband more than he loved me. That was my belief. And I was like, when I found it, I was like, what the fuck? Is that like a great belief? Is that a belief that makes me feel super good? Is that a belief that I want to keep? Like, is this giving me the life that I want? And it was a big fat fucking no, right? And so I was like, okay, so what would I like to believe? And I was like, that he loves me more than I love him. And now, when we talk about loving and more and all that, like, right, it's all on a continuum and you don't know anybody else's experience. But is it useful for me to feel like I love him more than he loves me? That like I'm doing more, like that there's like a needy desperateness in there almost, is the way it felt. And I was like, okay, I'm not cool with that. So I literally started to be like, oh yeah, you love me more than I love you. And I straight up did it with him. Like I would talk to him about it, the whole idea and the belief and all the things. And he's like, yeah, of course I love you more than you love me. And it did change things. It took away that neediness. It took away that fear. It took away the underlying stuff that was kind of operating inside of our relationship. And that is why taking on limiting beliefs is fucking fantastic, right? So the 3 limiting beliefs that I took on to be happy as fuck. I'm excited about this. They were brutal and they controlled my entire life. So 1 was that I was unlovable. 2 was that God hated me. And 3 was that life was hard. And I had tons of fucking evidence that all 3 of those were true. Literally, when I was 3 years old, you guys, my uncle was complaining about his job. We were at my grandparents' house. We were in the kitchen, and he was getting something out of the fridge, and he was complaining about his job. And I look up at him and I said, well, Leonard, life is life and life is hard. At 3, I had this belief that life was hard at 3. That's a story my family tells. At 3, you guys. So I knew it at 3, right? And I only had more evidence, right? That I had to work super hard, that everything was hard, relationships were hard, money was hard, business was hard, all of it hard, right? And I had like instances, right? Of all the hard work I put in, and then the business crashing and burning, and then, having to rebuild. So it was like always hard. But here's the issue with beliefs. So I'll just pick that one. When you believe something to be true, like you truly believe it, your subconscious is always looking for ways to prove that. It's always looking for ways to reinforce that belief, essentially, because our brains are just wired to kind of help us in the status quo, because that's what we needed like way back to survive, right? But what do we need now? We don't want to get stuck in a status quo of shit beliefs that are literally fucking us up and sabotaging our relationships, sabotaging our actions. Like, that's bullshit. We are in charge of this. But it's simple. These beliefs come up. Like I said, that one about the I love him more than he loves me, that popped up one day after I had already done the belief work, and I knew I was lovable as fuck. And everybody was telling me how much they loved me, and my whole world reflected that I was lovable as fuck. But then I was like, wait, but I'm not really I'm not being loved, essentially. And I don't mean that people weren't loving me. They were, but I wasn't actually accepting it. And it was that whole I love you more than you love me kind of thing. And so it just kind of bubbles up to the surface. This was my real thing about belief work though. Once you hit up these core, deep, childhood held beliefs and reprogram those, it changes your whole life. And then as beliefs bubble up, which they will because you're human and that's cool, it becomes more of like a fun game. Almost, literally. I find a thing and I'm like, oh, I'm feeling all wonky inside. What's happening here? And I go in and I look and see what's the belief that's happening. And it's fun because it's like, oh, there's another level. It's like a video game. I found another side quest. All right. Ooh, I found the next level. Right. So, and let's just talk a little bit more about the other one. So that I was unlovable, right? I proved that shit over and over again. Relationships where I was cheated on, friendships ending horribly, never having consistent income because I didn't deserve it. So, then you get into like, if you're not lovable, you're not worthy, and like, you're not worthy of all kinds of things, being treated well, being cherished, being important to somebody, having somebody be true and honest with you, having someone show up for you in the same way that you show up for them, right? Like at the same level, I don't know if you guys have ever had this, but I have, where it feels like you do 110% of the friendship. You're the one calling, you're the one scheduling, you're the one asking them. And it starts to feel more and more like almost like you're chasing this friend. That's an experience I had over and over again. And it's because I felt like I wasn't lovable. So I needed to prove it. I needed to see if I could get them over here to go out with me and hang out with me, then see they liked me, which meant that I was okay. Do you see? Like, can you feel the energy there? That fucking sucks. So, and then the last one, So loving myself. Oh, God hated me. Now, I had a lot of proof on this one as well. And I mean, we're talking like pretty deep psychological stuff from childhood. I was left with a pedophile. Of course, they didn't know that he was one, but they wanted to go to the bar, and he was 19. So they're like, "Oh, great, you can watch her," and then they left me with him, and I was assaulted. And so I mean, like, we are talking deep scar level proof, right? Proof. I was like, why did some of the other little girls who were 7, they didn't get left with a pedophile, and they didn't get left, like, I mean, obviously God must hate me. And also that fed into, right, that I wasn't lovable. I wasn't lovable because, I mean, if you really love a child, you would never put him in that situation, right? And life fucking sucks. It's not just hard, it fucking sucks. Because there are predators and there's scary shit out there. And do you see, and this all created this belief, okay? So you're like, okay, cool, great. I'm with you. Limiting beliefs are fucking me up, fucking up my happiness. I get it, Sherry. So what the fuck do I do? Well, honestly, what you do is you get into my course. For real. This is an actual 30-day program that helps you reprogram your big 3 beliefs. And it bumps your happiness set point. You get full support during it. It is a truly magical fucking place. Other women have taken it. It's been amazing for them. Shifted their relationship with their husband, created better communication patterns, helped them to be happier day to day in their relationship, as well as just happier inside themselves. One of the women, I did an email, and I was like, do you Google how to be happy? And she's like, I haven't since I took your course. Like, can you imagine going from really literally Googling how to be happy to just being happy? Like, that's a possibility. And it's not just being happy, it's being unapologetically you. Reclaiming your badass, because you fucking are. If you're listening to this, I know you are. And if I can do it, you can do it. If she can do it, you can do it. It's not rocket science, but it is something specific. It is a very specific framework that will actually pull you through and help you to reprogram the beliefs with support, with love, with practicing, taking time for yourself, enjoying your goddamn life, and being happier for real. And now, again, like I said, this is bumping your happiness set point. This is not about, ooh, everything's going to be roses and rainbows from here on out. This is literally just who you are in the situation. How you show up, how you respond to things will actually be different. And it will be effortless. That's the thing that I will say. Literally, I started showing up different, and I would months later realize that I showed up different. And it doesn't matter if you've done shitty shit in your past, if you've had horrible stuff happen to you in your past. It doesn't matter if you have a lifetime of evidence that these beliefs are true, that these things about you are true. What matters is you're ready, that you are no longer going to settle for those bullshit beliefs, for those fucking traumas to rule your goddamn life moving forward. Because you deserve to be loved, you deserve to feel good, you deserve to be happy, and you deserve to enjoy your goddamn life. For real. Each and every one of you. This is not something only meant for skinny women, or women who had parents who weren't fucked up, or women who like are sweetness and light. No, because I'm fucking kind of mean sometimes, and I'm loud, and I'm bitchy, and it's meant for me too. It's meant for you. No matter who you are, it's meant for you. You are meant to be loved. You're meant to enjoy your goddamn life for real. And if that's you, get in the course, like right now. Literally just go click the damn thing and get in, because it's 30 days. 30 days of you showing up for you, and it can change your fucking life. Okay. So for those of you who are like, I'm not going to click the button, you can fuck right off, Sherry. I also don't want you to go away empty-handed. So let's talk about beliefs a little bit. So let's pick these. I mean, I shared something pretty deep here, pretty scary, but it no longer has the power over me because I unhooked all the fucking hooks that were inside of me from that experience. I unfucked my beliefs. I do not believe that I'm not lovable anymore. I am lovable as fuck. And God fucking loves me because I am lovable as fuck, right? And life is wonderful, amazing, has so many possibilities. These are my new beliefs and actually the truth for me. Did it take some time? Yes. Did I use the same process I teach you? Yes. Has it actually created a happiness set point that I have not fallen back down from? Because this is the thing that I used to do all the time. It's like I would do the work. I would go to an event. I would do some therapy, whatever it was. And I would start feeling a little bit better. And then the shit or life would just fucking hit the fan. And boom, I'm back down here. I'm like at the lowest low, struggling to get out of bed. And I was like, man, maybe this is just what it is. It's just going to be a cycle like this for the rest of my life. And I was kind of like, yuck, I don't actually want my lows to be like where I can hardly get out of bed. I'm scared 24 hours a day. I'm needy as fuck. I am continually looking for someone else to validate me so that I feel okay. Like, ugh. And is this what I want to model for my son? Fuck no, absolutely not. And so I was like, I went out on the journey of, is it possible? Is it possible to be happier? I decided I was going to do it when I had no idea if it was even possible. And I didn't even know that I would actually love myself along the way. That I knew wasn't possible. So like even things you know is true can actually start to move when you do this process. That's like the miracle of it. So back into the belief work. When I look back at that trauma when I was 7 and I look at it with adult eyes, was there something wrong with me? Was I not lovable? No. Were my parents sick? Yes. Did they have problems that were spilling out over onto me? Yes. Was it fair? No. But it happened. Do you see what I'm saying? Like but it wasn't because of me. Do you get that? Like, look, even just starting to unhook some of those where you look at it with adult eyes. So I am not claiming that you should dig down into this trauma because that's not what I do. That's not what I teach. I don't want to re-traumatize you. But when you start to consider things from an adult perspective, when you look at it from 10,000 feet without getting down into it, and you really start looking at it, and you're like, oh, I mean, geez, my mom was basically a kid when she got married and had a baby. Literally. And she was with an alcoholic, and they were both super broken, and their broken pieces were hurting me. But it doesn't mean who I actually am was born as had some defect or problem. Do you get, like, any little bit of unhooking will help you. Any bit of noticing these beliefs that you have will help you. But what I will say is, without really truly bumping those set points, you will dip back down no matter what the work you do. This has been my experience. And what changed it was actually doing the belief work, getting a set point that was actually solid. Because literally, okay, in 2018, we were in a massive auto accident that took our truck and our trailer, which I will tell this story more, but head-on collision. We actually got hit with a ton of bricks. No fucking shit. Like, believe it. A trailer full of bricks swerved into our lane, came off the truck, and the truck it was hitched to, swerved right in. We hit it and totaled everything and all got injured. An actual ton of bricks. Fucking hell. And after that, we kind of were rebuilding. And why am I telling you this, right? This was all after I had done the belief work, okay? So I'm telling you how hard life got. And then I'm going to talk to you about what happened with my set point and my beliefs, okay? And then we had to figure out and revamp everything because we were going to travel cross country, and that was no longer an option because we all needed consistent, continual chiropractic care. And then we finally get to a place where we're stable. We've got our house. And then one of my most loved family members died, and it was brutally painful. Now, if you do this work, does that mean it saves you from grief? Does that mean, no, you're a human. You're going to grieve. You're going to feel the things that you need to feel. This is not about ignoring the shadows and the darkness and the hard times, but this is about shifting so that you actually are able to function through them in a different way. And then after that, COVID hit, and then we were all in isolation, still in isolation, right? And where I live, I was surrounded by Trump flags, and it was rough go. So that's a lot of stress. That's a lot of awful things happening all within a few years. That's a lot, okay? So let's just get real on that. But what did it do to my actual set points? I can tell you, I actually have still, with all of that fucking stuff, overall been happier than I used to be at my happiest. Like used to be when we would go to goddamn Disneyland. Like literally. And I didn't go to Disneyland when I was a child, but my son has been able to go to Disneyland most every year since he was like 3. But that's an aside, or maybe 2. Anyway. So my happiness set point is solid. Literally, I would have to intentionally undo it with 21 days of intentional work to undo it. Okay? So even with all of that stuff, and even with the grieving, because I'd grieved, and I still grieve sometimes, because it is painful. If you've lost somebody, it's painful, and that's okay. This is not about that. This is not about pretending that you aren't sad, or pretending that there isn't grief, or pretending that there's not bullshit happening in the world. All of that's true. But who can you be inside of that? Who can you be for your family? Who can you be for the world if you have handled your shit, gotten rid of those fucking beliefs that are not true, those limiting beliefs that are complete bullshit, and show up as your badass self to these things? Does a badass grieve and cry? And yes. Does a badass get pissed and stand up for what she believes in? Yes. Does a badass have the space for other people in their lives to have breakdowns and deal with that shit? Yes. Overall, is a badass woman a woman who shows up and is truly her and knows who she is and knows her value and knows her worth? Does she show up in such a way that it makes a goddamn difference for everybody just to be around her? Yes. So is it worth it? Yeah, for me, absolutely. And if it is for you, now's the time. Click that button in the description. Go join the course. For real. 30 days, solid support. Getting these actually limiting beliefs unhooked. For real. Because you don't have to believe them no matter how true they've seemed. If you are clear that you're continuing to create the cycles that are continuing to have you believe them, and you're ready, this is the time. And if it's not for you, it's not for you. I would love it if you keep listening to the show, because I want you to keep hearing this, because this is important. You are lovable as fuck, just the way you are.
To send me your questions or stories, email me at loveableafshow@gmail.com. If you loved the show, please comment, like, and subscribe if you're on YouTube. And if you're listening on the podcast, please leave a review and subscribe to help me get this show in front of more women who need to know that they are lovable as fuck, just as they are. Check out the show notes or go to beloveableaf.com. That's beloveableaf.com for more of how to unfuck yourself, love yourself, and be happy no matter your size. I said it before and I will say it again. You are lovable as fuck, just as you are.